How do you like a 31% revenue increase in 30 days and over $40,000 of ad spend saved in that same time period? Hey, my name is Vadim. I'm the founder of PPC Jumpstart. We are a boutique Amazon PPC agency helping brands selling between 100 to 500k in revenue and rising solo founders with their Amazon advertising. This is one of the viral LinkedIn posts that I've created, with over 273 people requesting this document, 2 reposts, 136 likes. So this is the exact strategy that we did to drive 31% revenue, to completely eliminate this wasted spend, and that was all done very quickly following this blueprint. In this video, I'm gonna share this guide with you guys, and I will also explain in real life examples what's applicable to account, what's not, and how to implement it in your account today. The infamous 23-point rescue audit I run on every account. So this is exactly how I work with clients. Is we have an audit. Basically, purpose of this audit is to feed clients for us. If we can't help you with your advertising, we are not working together. If we can, and we find that through the audit, this is when we start working together and implementing what I'm just about to show you. This works very well for large accounts, spending at least $30,000 a month on ads. So why this works is, again, it eliminates ad waste from misstructured campaigns, stop budget bleeding, unlocks growth opportunities, and provide maximum control over your advertising engine. I always audit accounts, and the main issue I see is that the campaign structure, it just lacks control. The strategy, the keyword harvesting strategy, There is this account I was auditing earlier in the morning. I think his total sales are like about 250,000 euros a month. And I'm kidding you not, there is 42 campaigns, and most of these campaigns are stuffed with hundreds of keywords. He's wondering, like, I'm not getting impressions on this keyword. Like, the previous agency I worked with, the impressions has eventually gone down. So I point out to him, just look at your campaign structure. There is a large keyword, for example, just giving an example, shoes, that has gotten $30 in ad spend in the last 30 days. Like, there is no way that the keyword is this small. And I explained the reason is because you're stuffing so many keywords in these campaigns. Each of them has to fight for its own visibility and traffic. That is what we are going to talk about in this guide, maximum control and how to unlock these growth opportunities. Section 1 is very important. Before we even go about optimizations, how we optimize placements, bids, budgets, the question you need to ask yourself is, do we have a right campaign structure in place? And all this boils down to is one keyword theme per ad group. Let's say you are selling keto protein powder, then you will need to have single keyword campaign for this keto protein powder, or up to 3 to 5 keywords, but they all need to have the same root, something like keto protein powder and something So in this regard, the conversion is going to be very similar among these keywords. They're going to convert on similar placements, so then it's safe to group. But extreme examples like this, kitchen gadgets, pet toys, let's say you're selling different products, they obviously need to have their own campaigns. Each major product gets dedicated campaigns. If you're selling a product for $100 and there is one product for $10 and then they're grouped in the same campaign, oh boy, I have news for you. This is not a good setup, because this product will convert very differently on top of search and rest of search, so you need to split them apart. The first obvious product split is how we split products is by, type of product. You're selling a glove for baking, it gets its own campaign. You're selling kitchen spatula, it's in its own campaign. The second is just the price point. The products that are very similar, very different in price, they need to be in their own campaigns. So this is my point here. Single ad groups or very similar variants. Avoid 50 SKUs in one ad group. Clear naming convention. For the naming convention, I recommend to use SP as a type, then you can have a country, product. For product, I recommend It could be home kitchen or it could be HK, which we usually use, and this is just a small short abbreviation of your product name. And then match type. It could be auto, or in this case I would say, because we also want to avoid launch targeting groups in its own campaigns, so it could be close, loose, substitutes, or complements. Or it could be exact, and in this case you would add your keyword vitamin B, for example. A lot of brands I started working with and initially audit, they like clear naming structure. So there is no way for me to know, I was again auditing this brand in the morning, huge brand, massive potential. His biggest campaign, the biggest spender is AO. Like, I have no idea what that even means. From my experience, it's probably an auto campaign targeting everything and any single product possible. Now there is a time and place for the strategy. It's called catch-all campaign, but that is not where all of your traffic should be going, because it lacks control. Sponsored brands, similar strategy. Goal, brand defense, you can say offense, when you are going after your competitors, etc. Action items. This is step 1, map your current campaign structure. Just give yourself a score. Do you follow the right names, the right match types and campaign name, etc. And then you rename campaigns with consistent format. Separate mixed products into focused campaigns. The second one is very interesting. Audit campaign type utilization. What exactly does this mean? It's not as much of a problem as yet campaign structure, but basically do bulk of your sales go to sponsored products, which is keyword campaigns. Now that is not a problem on Amazon, because sponsored products are the one driving organic sales on Amazon. But we need to have sponsored brands and sponsored display ads to get that full funnel marketing on Amazon. And how that looks like on Amazon is that for sponsored display, you will get this bottom of funnel people who already viewed your page, they've maybe added to cart, etc. This can all be set up using AMC audiences, so Amazon Marketing Cloud. We are getting good results with AMC currently, and this is under sponsored display ads. Sponsored brand ads, really recommend those ads. For your best keywords, I want you to guys have a headline ad right on top of the page, and that is how you increase your visibility a lot more, besides just running sponsored product ads, obviously. So what I really recommend you here is that for ad type percentage, sponsored products, they're going to drive the most of your sales. So we need to have 70 to 80% of our spend going, I'd say 80 to 85. Sponsored brands at least 10%, and then 5 to 10% to sponsored display ads. It's gonna look something like this. This is more of the same thing, so 10% towards video ads, 5 to 10% over sponsored display, and majority of your spend going towards sponsored products. Now, the point about match types, what you gotta understand is how Amazon works, right? Broad is always gonna be a discovery match type. It's gonna give you a lot of different results at a cheap cost per click, but it's hard to control it. To get control of your advertising, we need to move our ad spend from auto, broad to exact. Again, this brand I was auditing this morning, who is doing €250,000, 250,000 euros in total sales. Like 75% of their spend is going towards auto and broad match type, and like for me, that's a huge opportunity. The fact that this brand has 42 campaigns, like there is no way I cannot scale this business by just fixing their PPC, if you know what I mean. They're just relying on all of this auto campaigns, broad match type, etc. Like there is no control there at all. There is a purpose of auto and broad, and if you watch my other videos, that's just for getting cheap clicks and having good visibility. But we need to have a performance layer. This is your proven keywords, exact match type, single keyword campaigns, and your branded campaigns. What I also want to point out here is pretty important, and it's common among my clients who are mostly large businesses selling upwards of 500k a month in revenue. When you're at that level, you tend to get a lot of branded searches let's say you're, I don't know, you're IKEA and you're selling furniture, right? I don't know how IKEA manages their PPC, that'd be pretty cool to look at. But I'm pretty sure that for a brand like them, a large company, they're getting a lot of IKEA searches. So IKEA words, they need to be shown up in their, branded campaigns, and they need to be tagged. For example, and I know this wasn't the point here, but this is this point, separate branded and non-branded traffic. So we will have our non-branded campaigns with IKEA in negative phrase everywhere, and then we will have branded campaigns advertising on IKEA words. So the point of the split is that this kind of campaigns, they convert very differently on Amazon. Your branded campaigns, it's the lowest ACOS, highest performance type of campaign. If this is mixed with non-branded, then it's going to be convoluted and it's hard to optimize that account. So this is why we need to split it. As far as targeting type goes, so there is keyword targeting, ASIN targeting, category audience. Again, I recommend most of your spend is going towards this type. And I'd say, give this to exact phrase 60%, then have the rest 30% towards broad auto. It's something like this. I'm actually more leaning towards broad and auto lately because I noticed that Amazon is getting more advanced and auto is producing better results, and it's just getting a lot more relevant traffic. So I already talked about the key principles, and yeah. The next section is about keyword and search term optimization. So keywords and search terms, they're like the driving components of Amazon PPC. Keyword is something that you bid on. Search term is something that gets triggered by that keyword. Very simple exercise to eliminate wasted ad spend, and exactly what I did with this brand I showed you to remove almost $40,000 wasted. So pull search term report, 60 not to 90 days, set performance cutoffs. If you're selling a $1,000 product, the amount of clicks you need to convert is going to be a lot higher than a product that's selling for $10. So let's say you're selling a $50 item, or let's say $30. Then you need to determine, like, on average, if you're over 40 clicks, you'd probably want to eliminate this keyword from your advertising. Now, this is more advanced than that. You need to make sure that these clicks came from appropriate placement, because most of the time, if it's coming from product pages, it's not that keyword is bad, it's that the placement is bad. But I'm not trying to confuse you a lot, so I suggest you just set a very high performance cutoff, something like, let's say, like 60 clicks. And you can safely pause these keywords, provided that they didn't produce any orders. So this is a criteria you set up for yourself. Common waste categories, wrong category searches, competitor brand names, this is very common. Price focus searches, cheap free shipping, Amazon. As soon as you see the search terms, you know that these people are looking for cheap stuff. Unrelated use cases, this could be a type of metal, silver, it could be a color, it could be a use case, it could be an audience. If you're selling a product for kids, it probably makes sense to remove adults from your search terms or just negate it. Expected results, 10 to 20% of spend typically identified as waste, immediate ACOS improvement, and budget freed up for better opportunities. Now let's talk about what we're gonna do with this budget that's been freed up. And the very next step we are doing is harvesting high-performing search terms. So again, that is the point of advertising. Sometimes it's about throwing that wide net. Also, there is a lot of reports on Amazon where you don't need to throw the wide net to identify relevant keywords, but it's about getting as much control as possible for our advertising. So discovery, analysis, graduation, optimization. Anything from auto campaign goes to exact targeting, phrase targeting, etc. And these are dedicated campaigns, which you can scale. Typically you'll have higher conversion rate by doing this, low SEOs, because this is what you can control, and so on. Create exact match type campaigns for winning terms, add as negatives, set appropriate bid budget, monitor performance, and scale. Okay, Vadim, how do you scale even further? This keyword is working really well. So thing we can do is expanding to related match types. Phrase broad. I would go as far as saying don't use broad. I'd suggest use broad match modified. It's more targeted. Target winning case in competitors. Create themed ad groups around successful terms. What else can we do? Launch SBV ads. So any keywords that will work well for you, you want to expand it, you want to give it more visibility. Why not do video ads? I recommend using broad match modified because with exact match type, sometimes it produces irrelevant searches. So negative keyword strategy. Block irrelevant terms per campaign, universal blocks, etc. So the point of this is about, I call this negative keyword list or never list. Any products you sell, you want to have this list handy, and when you launch campaigns on Amazon, have it as a list of negatives you can immediately add to the campaign, so that helps you to avoid any relevant searches. So there is going to be a campaign specific list, or this should be product specific list, and then it could be account wide list. An example of this, competitor brand names. And match type control, so exact terms and negative in broad campaigns. So that's something, you know, that you found out over time, or you know this is not your keyword, you can negate it in exact. So implementation priority irrelevant categories, internal cannibalization, so that's going to be your branded terms, low value modifiers, block priced focus terms, and competitor defense. So this is almost half of the 23-point rescue audit. So we have done 6 points only. In the next, so I'm assuming this is going to be a 3-part series or 4-part. In the next few videos, I will show you guys how to do bid and budget optimization, setting the right bidding strategy, optimizing placements, bid optimization routine, budget relocation, and day parting. And it's gonna go a lot more in depth. So until the next video.